So how do I go about getting this certification that you're talking about? Hey guys, hello and welcome. I'm Jen. I'm the owner, creator, and interior designer here at Teacup Tiny Homes. Teacup Tiny Homes. Teacup Tiny Homes. And this is Ryan, and Ryan overlooks all of the construction things. We are going to go over some of the biggest questions that we get asked. Do you have any other questions? If you have any questions, make sure you mark them down because we're going to cover a lot of information right now. First of all, one of the biggest things to know and to be educated about is certifications. You are talking to someone and they tell you that you do not need a certification. Make sure that you are getting in touch with municipalities, insurance brokers, financing institutions, because all of those people will want you to have a certification. All right, what is a certified tiny home? So for starters, a tiny home is classified as anything either 500 and under or 400 and under. I know the definition gets a little bit weird, but what that means is that they are small dwellings. A dwelling is defined by something that is on a foundation. So if you are here in Canada, when we're talking about a certified tiny home, there is something called an A277 certification. And what that means is it is the procedure for factory built buildings. Anyone who is building any kind of building or partition of a building in a factory and then shipping it somewhere else, technically by law has to have the A277 certification. So Teacup Tiny Homes has this certification. A lot of manufactured home builders have this certification as well. So that just means that you're pretty much following building code. You're building in a factory, shipping it somewhere else, and it will be installed on a foundation, on a site, no wheels, not movable. Well, it'll be movable with a crane, but in this circumstance, certification is very necessary. You're going to be getting a building permit. You're going to be talking to your city for inspections and all those types of things when you do your site install. So that is the foundation build tiny home. Secondly is our tiny homes on wheels. Now, we have been in many conversations over the years about what tiny homes on wheels are defined as. So the best way and easiest way for tiny home builders to be able to achieve legality or legal needs is to certify or classify them as either RVs or as park models. So the definition of a tiny home RV is that you have to be able to clean up within 30 minutes and move your home relatively easy. It also means that your home can be no wider than 8'6" wide. So when you're talking about, and we're gonna go over this more in the design phase, when you're talking about a tiny home RV, you're 8.5 feet wide, you'll follow road regulations, you need no special permits or anything like that. When we go into a tiny home park model, and that's when we get wider, is that definition is anything that is wider than 8.5 feet wide. 10 feet wide, 12 feet wide, all those things. But one thing to keep in mind is that no one will issue you a permit in Alberta or BC, and that may change, without you being CSA certified. So if you want to move this tiny home regularly, and if you want to pull it around with you, and if you are not CSA certified and you're going over that 8.5 feet wide, you must be a park model certified home. So they will not issue you a permit unless you are a CSA certified park model. So one other and last certification that you'll see or that you'll hear about is RVIA certification. And what that means is those follow more of the codes that are applicable in the US. So us at Teacup Tiny Homes, we are also RVIA certified, which means that we can ship our tiny homes across international borders and that everything will comply with the laws and regulations there. That means that you can get insurance for them when you're in the States. So something very key to keep in mind as well. Again, self-builders, you may have more difficulty with transporting, but it all depends on what you're gonna do. It all depends on if you're gonna stay in one spot, if you plan on moving around a lot, and again, the liability is, those are the rules. It all depends on if you get caught. Did I say that out loud? Maybe we should scratch that off. Shh. All right, so with certification, the next question is always, but how do I go about getting this certification? In order to have a certified tiny home, there is a very lengthy process that we have to go through in order to do that. And typically it's just not feasible. It can cost anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 to achieve the different certifications and to certify one unit. So, and that doesn't even include the copious amounts of hours that go into doing everything that needs to be done to get that certification. So typically on the one-offs, you're not going to have a certified tiny home. However, there are many builders that are building CSA certified or certified tiny homes. We at Teacup Tiny Homes, as I said already, we do RVIA certified, we do CSA certified, and we also do our A277, which is your foundation builds, tiny home RVs, and tiny home park models. Now, not every builder that is certified is going to have all those certifications because it costs more time, more money, and more builds in order to achieve each of those certifications. So you need to know and ask and be very clear with what you're looking for when you're talking to each builder, especially here in Canada or in the US, to make sure that your certification will apply to what you're needing. All right, now if you're a one-off and you're building it on your own, in the US side, there is something called NOAA certification. If you have looked into that, it is basically using the RVIA inspectors to inspect your home. There is a fee that goes with it, and that is something that is starting to be recognized in the US. However, here in Canada it is not. It's not going to help you get across the border if you are selling into the States or if you're moving around.